Anthony Joshua talks a lot of rubbish. He tries to pretend to be this bad, aggressive man whenever my name is mentioned, but he's not that way inclined. For me, it's good. The worst thing in sport is not to be talked about, but my name is being mentioned with all the top heavyweights in the world. He's world champion and he's calling my name, so I'll take it as a privilege that the world champion is calling me out. I'm happy about that. Fight him again, it will be a different story. He's shown that he's vulnerable when he gets put under pressure. You have to keep the pressure on him. It makes it a lot easier being there once and doing it on the big stage now. I believe I'm ready now for these big fights. Everyone thinks that these guys are gods and they're invincible. They are not invincible. Those are the words of the body snatcher, Dillian Whyte, talking about his rival, Anthony Joshua. This is the first time that I've seen Dillian Whyte talk so overtly about fighting Joshua again. He has mentioned it here and there in passing in a few interviews, but this is the first time that he's really come out quite boldly and brashly saying it's going to be different next time and really expanding on how he feels about Joshua. So maybe a rematch between Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte is not that far away. All both guys have to do is keep on, Dillian Whyte has to keep on winning. Joshua, even if he lost, he could still probably, imagine if Joshua did lose one of his heavyweight title defenses. Eddie Hearn would probably want to set up a Dillian Whyte fight. That would almost be a natural, if Dillian Whyte wanted it. So yeah, maybe this fight between the two of them is closer. The rematch is closer than we realize. A lot of people are very critical of Dillian Whyte. They don't think he's particularly good. They think he lost to Derek Chisora, so on and so forth. The thing that I've always admired about Dillian Whyte is his unshakable self-belief and confidence. He's always been like this from the first day he stepped in a boxing gym, the first day he stepped in a kickboxing gym. When he said he used to get beat up when he first started kickboxing, but he kept going back, and eventually he was beating those guys up who used to beat him up in sparring. So he's always had that mentality, that self-belief. So regardless of what you think about his actual ability, the fact that he's so hard-headed and stubborn and has so much self-belief, that can take him far with that type of self-belief. That kind of hard-headedness, that kind of heart. Whether you like Dillian Whyte or hate him, you're not going to try to tell me this guy don't show heart in the ring. He's a very brave guy. Very brave. So, yeah, I think it'll be interesting if he fought Joshua again. Joshua would definitely be the favorite, and understandably so. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's another competitive fight next time around. I wouldn't be surprised. Sometimes certain fighters, as good as they ever get, they always have this nemesis. They always have this bogeyman or boogeyman, as they call it in the States, who they just can't seem to get to grips with. Like with Muhammad Ali, it was Ken Norton. Ken Norton got wiped out by George Foreman in 2 rounds. And a lot of people must have thought at the time that Kenny Norton was finished when he got wiped out in that fight. But yet, he came back and he had that 3rd fight with Muhammad Ali, which most people feel like Kenny Norton, and certainly Kenny Norton himself, feels like he won. He won the 1st fight against Ali. The 2nd fight, Kenny Norton said it could have gone either way. So they gave it to Ali, I could accept it. But the 3rd fight, I really felt like I won it. And even though Ali had beat Frazier in the Thriller in Manila, even though he conquered George Foreman and all these other people, whenever he fought Ken Norton, Ken Norton gave him hell every time. That particular style, for whatever reason, he couldn't get to grips with. Could Dillian Whyte be that for Anthony Joshua? I know a lot of you people are shaking your heads and saying, hell no, Dillian Whyte is not that guy for Joshua. Joshua just made it more difficult for himself than it had to be in the 1st fight by abandoning his boxing and just having a slugfest, and that's why he got caught. A lot of you will be saying that, but I don't know. I don't know. They've got history from the amateurs. Their amateur fight was a tough fight. Joshua lost that. He got dropped. Their pro fight, Dillian was injured. Dillian wasn't in the greatest shape. He's in much greater shape now. And I know people don't like hearing about injuries, but people, injuries are a reality. Are you trying to tell me that the outcome of David Haye versus Tony Bellew would have been exactly the same if Haye hadn't been injured? Is that what you're trying to tell me? You're trying to tell me that injuries have no bearing over the outcome of fights? Come on, people. They do. Dillian Whyte was injured in that fight against Anthony Joshua. I'm not saying he would have won if he weren't injured, but you have to assume he would have done better than he actually did. Now he's in much better condition. He's with Eddie Hearn now. At that time, he wasn't signed to Eddie Hearn on any long-term contract. Joshua was the A side, very much so. He wasn't really getting any backing. He didn't really have a proper training team. He was having to follow Jonathan Banks around the world and get in whatever training he could. So, in shape against Joshua, you know, Joshua, I watched the Dillian Whyte Derek Chisora fight again recently, and I initially, when I watched the fight live, scored it for Chisora. Watching it again, I actually believe Dillian Whyte did win the fight by a couple rounds. But as much trouble as Chisora gave Dillian Whyte, Anthony Joshua and Chisora got two different styles, and it is all about styles. And ultimately, Joshua knocked Dillian Whyte out when they fought, and Chisora obviously didn't. But still, there are certain things that Chisora does that Anthony Joshua don't do, and vice versa. I don't know, I just feel like Dillian Whyte, Joshua, there's just a chemistry there where somehow, some way, Joshua's going to find a way to get dragged into Dillian Whyte's kind of fight. That's just what I feel. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he'll wipe Dillian Whyte out next time they fight in, you know, 1 or 2 rounds. But I just get the feeling like it's going to be explosive again when they fight again. Because Dillian is such an aggressive personality. He brings the aggression out of Joshua. You know, Joshua is normally a guy who's cool and calm. Because most of Joshua's opponents are like that. They're like calm and respectful and whatnot. They don't really try and rile him up that much. I mean, Dominic Breazeale tried a little bit, but Joshua didn't really seem to take the bait. Charles Martin, I mean, I don't really think he tried that much. In those fights, Joshua was calm and collected and cool, like he was in all his other fights. But against Dillian Whyte, Whyte is such an aggressive character. I don't know if he gets under Anthony Joshua's skin. I don't know if it was just a one-off because Joshua wanted revenge for what happened to the amateurs, and that's why he turned it into a street fight. I don't know. But there's just something about Dillian Whyte that gets under the opponent's skin and makes them want to have a tear-up with him. And it nearly backfired on Joshua when he had a tear-up with Dillian Whyte. You know, Dillian Whyte, from a technical point of view, even though his punches are not always correctly delivered, from a technical point of view, Dillian Whyte is quite good. Especially, go and watch that Chisora fight again and look how many times Dillian Whyte is landing clean shots on the inside against Chisora when Chisora has not landed any clean shots. But Dillian Whyte is consistently landing these like clean, short little hooks and uppercuts up close. Counter punches as well. Dillian Whyte lands a lot of counter punches, especially with the left hook. Right? He has a lot of nice little technical things that he does. More so, actually, more technical things than Joshua does a lot of the time. Joshua is more basic, but the basics that he does well are better than Dillian Whyte's equivalent. For example, Joshua throws a good 1-2 at long range, which is better than Dillian Whyte's long range. You know, Joshua does certain basic things more correctly than Dillian Whyte does, but Dillian Whyte has got a broader range of tools. That's what I will say. Yeah, I think Joshua uses his tools better than Whyte uses his, but Whyte has more tools. Yeah, hope I made sense there. So, just some food for thought. Let me know what you feel about Dillian Whyte's words here. Talking about Joshua again, says that he's talking rubbish and all that business. And it will be different next time. Will it be different? What do you think? Drop your comments in the comment section below. Hopefully I haven't waffled on for too long in this video and I kept you guys with me to the end. If you haven't done so already on the previous video, make sure you click the notification bell. Below this video should be next to the subscribe button to receive alerts for all my future uploads. And also, take a look at this smorgasbord of other videos that I've recorded lately. It should be appearing on screen right now or very shortly. Have a look at those 4 other videos. Have you watched them before? If not, you might want to take a look. Or maybe you don't want to take a look. It's all good. Like, share, comment, subscribe, rate, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to do. Make sure you do something. And above all else, thank you for watching. It's your boy Hatman, I'm out.